Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. I'm your host, Frank Rampin. Let's dive into another week of the MLB season. So, getting into the last month and a couple weeks of the season, getting really down to the nitty gritty of it. Division races are tightening up, except for, I guess, the NL Central, and the wild card races are going to be amazing. So, let's dive right into it this week with the stat of the week. Go right into the weekly recap. So, stat of the week. I'm sure you guys might as well know, baseball fans. If you're watching this thing, you're a baseball fan. The knuckleball is kind of a lost art in baseball. I mean, in general, it wasn't like half the pitchers in the league or even like a quarter of pitchers in the league were like knuckleballers at one point. But I mean, there were more knuckleballers overall in the past than there are now. Now, there's only one. So in the past 2 seasons, knuckleballs thrown in the last 2 years, Matt Waldron, our lone knuckleballer, has thrown over 1,000, 1,028 to be exact. The next closest player in the MLB, Jose Trevino, the Platinum Glove catcher for the New York Yankees, with 14. So over 1,000 less than the knuckleballer Matt Waldron. Obviously, Jose Trevino's a position player, so he's only throwing knuckleballs when they're either up or down by a ton. And the rest of the MLB combined has only thrown 16 knuckleballs in the last 2 seasons. So that's crazy. Knuckleball, just a complete lost art. Never see it anymore. And appreciate when Matt Waldron pitches. I really enjoy watching Matt Waldron pitch for 2 reasons. Because he's a knuckleballer. It's kind of interesting to watch people hit against knuckleballers and throw knuckleballs in this day and age. And also, he throws like 95 miles an hour. So he just like sneaks one by you at 95, and the next pitch is dancing all over the place at like 80. So pretty interesting stuff, Matt Waldron. I hope that the Padres, like they're surging, I hope that he can be impactful the rest of the way. So let's go to the play of the week. This one is absolutely absurd. This one happened yesterday, actually, Sunday, August 18th. This one takes us out to Flushing, Queens, Citi Field, place I took a trip to twice this past week because my A's came into town. We'll talk about that one a little bit later. But Citi Field yesterday, Pete Alonso at the dish in the bottom of the first inning, run around first and second with one out. Drills one deep to right center field. Derek Hill races back, makes a great leaping catch at the wall. He flips it to Jesus Sanchez, fires it to Otto Lopez, the cutoff man. Coming around third, trying to tag up from second base, Mark Vientos, but Lopez's throw guns him down at the plate. So an 8-9-4-2 double play ends the bottom of the first inning and keeps the Mets off the board. The first 8-9-4-2 double play turned an LB since at least 1900. 124 years ago that this happened. What a play this was. Might be the double play of the year. Wow. Crazy play that was. First of all, great effort and catch by Derek Hill in center field, all the way to track that one down in right center. And then the presence of mind to flip it to Jesus Sanchez, fire it into the cutoff, and get Mark Vientos as he tried to tag and score from second. What a play that was. The first 8-9-4-2 double play turned since 1900. Unbelievable. So that was yesterday. On Sunday, that's today, Monday the 19th. So we'll go from a wild play of the week, first time we've seen a play like that in 124 years, to Citi Field yet again. Thursday, A's at Mets, rubber match of a 3-game series. A's took game 1 on Tuesday night, lost 9-1 on Wednesday, and then Thursday during the day game, rubber match, try to take the series. So, Monday, wasn't it? Tuesday, the A's played the Mets at Citi Field. I was there, sporting my Cell shirt, for the boys. And Shea Langoliers went off, 4 for 4, triple shy of the cycle, had a chance to maybe pick it up in the ninth inning when he doubled down the right field line off of Edwin Diaz. Didn't stretch it to 3, but Shea Langoliers reached base 5 times, got on base 4. So now, A's win that 195. So now, here we are, 1 o'clock start on Thursday. Showed up to this game with my grandma. Shout out, Graham. So we'll pick things up in the bottom of the second inning here. Runners on second and third, 1 away. Slider from Mitch Spence runs well outside, past Langoliers. That one gets back to the backstop. So first run in this one comes in on a wild pitch as Pete Alonso dives in safely. So early trouble for the A's as we move ahead. I believe to the bottom of the third inning. After a Francisco Lindor infield single, Mark Vientos crushes an off-speed pitch high and deep to right center field. That one finds the Mets bullpen. Crush job from Mark Vientos, his 18th of the season. Puts the Mets up 3-0 here in the third. And Mark Vientos has been unbelievable this season for the New York Mets. Just the power stroke has been there all season long, and they continue to ride his hot bat. So now, moving ahead in the inning, Mitch Spence pulled for Michel Otanez out of the pen for the A's. So now bases loaded. First pitch Otanez throws, ripped into left field by Luis Torrens. 2 runs are going to score. JD Martinez and Pete Alonso both score. RBI single from Luis Torrens, and it's 5-0 New York in the third. So not a good start for my A's, trailing 5-0 here, looking bleak. So moving to the top of the 4th inning now. Jose Quintana, the starter for the Mets, working himself into his second jam of the day. Loads the bases for the second time here in this one. And now he's going to face the center fielder, J.J. Bleday. First pitch to Bleday sees, hanging off speed, roped down the right field line, just barely gets out into the second row. Grand slam, first career for J.J. Bleday. 5-4, the A's are back in it. Out of nowhere, after the first part of this game, nothing was going on. The A's work it back, and now it is 5-4. And they show the replay here on the NBC Sports broadcast, or NBC Sports California broadcast, of the side angle of J.J. Bleday's home run. And just pause it right here before the swing. Take a look at the top left corner of the screen. That would be yours truly in my cell shirt, rocking it with the sunglasses on right next to my grandma. You can see me right there. And Homer, I knew it right off the bat. Homer, first career grand slam from J.J. Bleday, 5-4 A's right back in the ball game. So that's the second time this year that I've been at an A's game and in the background of a home run replay. So how about it? I'm just there. Good luck for the boys. And going into this game, remember, I went to a game back in Oakland in May. They won that game against the Rockies 5-4. They came back to win that one late. They won 9-5 on Tuesday. So I'm looking to go 3-0 on the season with the A's, or when I'm in the building when the A's are playing. So good start here now. Down 5-4. I'm in the shot again for a grand slam. So how about it? So now, still later in this inning, Shea Langeliers gets hit by a pitch after that 2-run home run, or 2-run, by that grand slam from J.J. Bleday. Keep in mind, that grand slam came with 2 away. So at 5-0, 2 outs, bases loaded, J.J. Bleday crushes a hanging slider, 5-4. So still 2 outs here in the top of the 4th after a Shea Langeliers hit by pitch. Tyler Nevin looking to give the A's another one. Rips one into left. That one's going to get into the corner. Winker on the move. He's going to track it down. Langeliers getting the wave around third. Lindor's relay throw to the plate in time, but Luis Torrens unable to make the tag. Langeliers comes in. They call him safe, and the A's tie the game. So I'm fired up. Boys are fired up. People in New York are booing. Everyone's upset. And if you see the replay, Luis Torrens misses the tag, but Shea Langeliers also misses the plate. So a great slide by Shea to get away from the tag, but just a little bit too much up into the field of play to get that foot back onto the plate, just barely missing it by a couple of inches. Umpire misses the call. They go back to the replay room, and they overturn it. So Mets hang on to the lead 5-4 after the A's thought they tied it up on an RBI double by Tyler Nevin. Langeliers cut down at the plate. So that ends this 4th inning. As you see, the play overturned here. Out is the call. A's still trail by 1. So now to the bottom of the 4th inning, still 5-4. Mark Vientos, who homered in his last at-bat, another one high and deep to right field. Daz Cameron back at the wall. Another homer for Mark Vientos. 2 home run game for him, back-to-back at-bats with a homer. His 19th of the season gives the Mets a 6-4 lead. So after the A's 4 runs back in the top of the 4th, Mark Vientos gets 1 to make it 6-4. They crank up that the OMG speakers. It is 6-4 New York. So now to the top of the 5th inning after a that was Seth Brown with a single. Zach Geloff gets up to third base. First and third, nobody out. Huascar Brazoban, wild pitch to Darrell Hernandez. That's going to allow Geloff to score 6-5. The A's are back within 1. So now into the 6th inning after Shea Langeliers hits his 3rd hit of the game. Double ripped into the left field corner. 2nd and 3rd with no away for the A's. J.J. Bleday at 3rd. Langeliers at 2nd. Here comes Tyler Nevin, the first baseman in this one. He's going to ground one softly over to second base and Jose Iglesias. Both runners move up. J.J. Bleday in to score, and this game is tied up at 6. So the A's, who were once down 5-0 at one point in this game, fight their way back, and the game is now 6-6. So here comes Seth Brown, entered late, hitting his first at bat. Now his second at bat with runners in first and third, rolls one through the right side. So A's take a 7-6 lead after trailing 5-0 in this game, and the Boo Birds were out in Flushing. Place was going crazy, not happy with the relievers. So 7-6, A's on top, moving into the late innings. So we go to the bottom of the eighth. And who's coming out of the pen? Guess what time it is in Flushing? It is Miller time. Mason Miller comes out in the bottom of the eighth inning to try to keep the Mets at bay. First batter he faces, Harrison Bader, swings and misses at the wipeout slider. And then later in the inning, Mark Vientos, same thing. 2 strikeouts in the bottom of the eighth inning for Mason Miller. 2 strikeouts, 1-2-3 inning on 12 pitches. Looked absolutely dominant. 2 wipeout sliders get 2 strikeouts. So we go to the ninth inning, still 7-6. Mason Miller looking to pick up the first 6-out save of his young career. First batter he faces in the ninth is J.D. Martinez, and guess what? Another one of those wipeout sliders out of the zone, waved on and missed. 1 out here in the ninth after the strikeout, 3 strikeouts and 4 batters for Mason Miller. And look at the spin on this thing. Just so much movement, so tight. And the next batter tried to go to that slider again, runs wild on him, and it hits Tyrone Taylor. So here comes Pete Alonso representing the go-ahead run, and the winning run pops one up to the right side. Geloff puts it away in foul territory. So 2 outs here in the ninth. And the next batter, Jose Iglesias, he's going to walk. So the tying run's on second, the winning run's on first. Mason Miller needs to lock down and get out of this. So here comes Francisco Alvarez, the backstop for the Mets, who's been struggling. Hanging off speed, drilled to right center field, but J.J. Bleday is there. Fitting person to catch the last out in this one. Hit a big grand slam, the first of his career. And Mason Miller holds the boys, gives the boys a 7-6 win. First 6-out save of his career. Mason Miller has been unbelievable. First time he's ever done that. And the A's pick up their biggest comeback win of the season when they were down 5-0 at some point, and they've won 7 of their last 9 series. Are they the hottest team in the American League? Maybe. And this game took 3 hours and 45 minutes. The longest game in the pitch clock era. So the longest game in the past 2 seasons between the A's and the Mets on Thursday. 3 hours and 45 minutes. And I was there in attendance with my grandma. So how about it? A's take a series at Citi Field against the Mets. And second time I've been on the replay of a homer for the A's. So how about it? Boys are buzzing. Hottest team in baseball. Hottest team in the American League since the All-Star break. It's been fun to watch. So now we move from the weekly recap to the standings update. Go through this one, start in the AL East like always. And yet again, another week we go into the standings update, and another week where the Orioles and the Yankees are tied. Both teams 73-52, just clawing back and forth every day. It's like, oh, Yankees got one. Oh, next day, Yankees lose, Orioles win. Tied up again. It's basically that no one can get more than a game on the other team in this division. It's been unbelievable. Anthony Santander has got 36 home runs, and Gunnar Henderson has 33. They're just the second pair of Orioles teammates to have 30 or more home runs in 121 games. Zach Eflin, huge trade acquisition for this Orioles team, became the second pitcher in Orioles history to win 4 games in a row in his first 4 appearances with the team. He joins Jack Harshman, who did it back in 1958. And Jackson Holliday still continues to be very hot after his call-up, after his second call-up of the season. Second youngest player in Orioles history to have a 4-hit game behind only Brooks Robinson, who did it in 1957. Jackson Holliday continues to rake. The Yankees, like I mentioned, same record, 73-52. Aaron Judge just crushed home run number 300 of his career in the fewest amount of games and plate appearances in MLB history. Fastest player to 300 home runs in MLB history by 132 games. Judge is the only player in MLB history to hit 300 home runs in less than 1,000 games. It only took him 955. That's 132 games fewer than the next closest person, Ralph Kiner, who had 1,087. And in third place, Ryan Howard, 1,093. And Judge is just the second player in MLB history to get to 300 home runs before getting to 1,000 hits, joining Mark McGwire. So that just shows you that this guy's just hitting a home run every other day. It's unbelievable to watch. Judge is the 5th player to hit 300 home runs with the Yankees, joining Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, and Yogi Berra. And Aaron Judge only needed 284 games to get from 200 home runs to 300 home runs. Like, think about that. That's 50. Like, he hit what? Like, that's crazy. That's insane. But even though they had this good week where Judge hit home run number 300, they did lose 12-2 in a game to the White Sox. They did end up winning the series, but I mean, losing a game by 10 runs to the White Sox is, you got to do something really bad. It was the first time since 1934 that a team with the worst record in baseball beat the team with the best record in baseball by 10 or more runs after July 1st. So key factor there, after July 1st, because that's when you really know when they're the worst team in the league. First time that's happened in 90 years. And it was the largest loss by the Yankees to the worst team in baseball since 1987. But some more positives before we move on from the Yankees. Juan Soto, during that series against the White Sox, this was actually the next day, they lose 12-2. I believe it was Tuesday. So then on Wednesday, what does Juan Soto do? 3 homers. First career 3-homer game. He went 3 for 4 with 3 home runs and 4 RBIs. And the Yankees won 4-1. He became the 4th Yankee to homer in 4 consecutive at-bats. And his 3 homers that drove in all the team's runs in Yankee history was just the 4th time that's ever happened. Joe DiMaggio's done it. Mickey Mantle did it. Bobby Mercer's done it. And now Juan Soto, driving in all the runs in a game while also having 3 home runs for the Yankees. And Soto's 23 multi-home run games before turning 26 are the second most in MLB history, behind only Mel Ott, who has 24. So the next time Soto does it, he'll be tying Mel Ott for a little piece of history there, and potentially has a chance to beat him. When does Juan Soto turn 26? That's a great question. Let's look that up. Juan Soto, 25 years old, and he doesn't turn 26 until October. So he's basically got the whole season to make this happen. I bet he does it. I'm going to go on a limb and say that he hits 2 more multi-home run games. And Soto, 6th player in Yankee history with 6 or more home runs in a 4-game span. Babe Ruth, Tony Lazzeri, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, A-Rod, and now Juan Soto. And Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, this has been a historic teammate duo. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are the first pair of teammates in MLB history to each have 100 walks and 50 extra base hits before the end of August. So 32 pairs of teammates have done this, to have 100 walks and 50 extra base hits, but no one's ever done it before September 1st. And there's about a week and a half left still. It's still the 19th. Like, there's 10 days, 12 days left in the month. So there's a chance that they could add to those numbers, which they will. And these guys have just been unbelievable. And if the Yankees don't re-sign Juan Soto at the end of this year, I don't understand what they're doing, and it will not make any sense to me, probably forever. That guy, they needed him. They need him. The Red Sox still hanging around. They're 7 games back behind the Orioles and the Yankees in the AL East. They're only 3.5 games back of the Royals for that last AL wildcard spot. So the Red Sox, even though, we got to talk about this. I haven't really talked about this enough. At the beginning of the season, we made a big deal about the Red Sox pitching, about how historic the start of the season the Red Sox pitching staff had, especially the starters. The starters were unbelievable. Tanner Houck, Cutter Crawford, all those guys were dialed in. They still are doing pretty solid, especially Tanner Houck. He was the lone all-star on that staff. But the bullpen has absolutely fallen apart. They were on a historic stretch like 2 months into the season where they were like the lowest ERA and overall bullpen, or just an overall pitching staff in baseball history. They were close to that number. Now, they are historically bad. It's like over 6 as a staff. It's been an unbelievable turnaround for the Red Sox, where at the beginning of the season, they were making errors. They couldn't really hit, but they were pitching. And now, they can't hit. I mean, they can't pitch. They're still kind of making errors. They lead the league in errors, actually. But their pitching is horrible. They're relying on their offense now. It's been a complete 180 since the start of the year. But the Red Sox still 7 games over 500 and hanging around in this AL playoff race. The Tampa Bay Rays got themselves over 500, 62-61. They're only 6.5 games of an AL wildcard spot, so that's a chance there. But I don't know. They're going to need to shape things out very soon. I still don't see this team as a playoff team. Josh Lowe just became the second player in Rays history to steal a base in 6 consecutive games. He joins Carl Crawford. And the Blue Jays, 8 games under 500. They just had Will Wagner, the son of Billy Wagner, make his first career start, or play in his first career game. And in that game, he went 3 for 4 with an RBI. The first pitch he ever saw as an MLB batter, ripped it for a double, later had an RBI single. 4th player in Blue Jays history to record at least 3 hits in their debut. Like I mentioned, the son of Billy Wagner should be a Hall of Famer. I hope he gets in next year on his final year on the ballot. So over to the National League East, the Philadelphia Phillies, 73-51. Christopher Sanchez threw his 5th complete game of the season. That leads the MLB. And he's one of 3 pitchers that has multiple complete games this season. Kevin Gausman and Max Fried are the other 2. And Weston Wilson, not an everyday player for this Phillies team. Comes in and plays, I guess once every other week or once a week. Guess he'll play a little bit more with the Austin Hayes injury. Austin Hayes, their trade line deadline accusation. But Weston Wilson just hit for the cycle. First cycle of his career, the 10th in Phillies history, and the 4th in baseball this season. The Atlanta Braves, 7 games back of the Phillies in the NL East. They do hold the 3rd NL wildcard spot right now. They're ahead of the Mets by 2 games. Charlie Morton just became the 19th pitcher to record 1,200 strikeouts at the age 34 or older. The New York Mets, just mentioned it. They're 9 games back of the Phillies in the East and 2 games back of the Braves for that final NL wildcard spot. They're going to need to keep this momentum going. They've been really good over the past couple of months. Going to need it to happen. Francisco Lindor just hit home run number 100 of his career with the Mets. Lindor is only the second shortstop in Mets history to get to 100 homers. He's only behind Jose Reyes, who has 108, and now Lindor, like I said, at 100. And Luis Severino just threw his 2nd career shutout, complete game shutout against the Marlins on Saturday in a rainy game. A little bit of a weird game that was, but the Mets win 4-0. The Nationals, 13 games under 500. Andres Chaparro became the 3rd player in MLB history to hit at least 3 doubles in his Major League debut. That was cool stuff. The Marlins still sitting over 30 games under 500, but Jake Burger, since the All-Star break, so last year's trade deadline acquisition for the Marlins, Jake Burger, this year did not get traded at the deadline. A lot of speculations that he would, and he has 13 home runs since the All-Star break. 13 home runs since the All-Star break. That's the most in baseball. And at one point, he had a homer in 4 straight games. So Jake Burger just absolutely scorching hot to start this second half. The Marlins have been better, but, they're still 30 games under. Go over into the Central Divisions, the American League. 10 games over 500, the Cleveland Guardians still in first place, but this division is tightening up. John Kenzie Noel, first Cleveland player with 8 or more home runs in his first 31 career games since Russell Branyan did it back from 1998 to 2000. So that was a weird stat I saw. I guess it took Russell Branyan 3 full seasons to play 31 games. That's really weird. But Giancarlo Noel did it all this year. The Minnesota Twins have been playing very, very good baseball as of recently, and they are on the heels of this Cleveland Guardians team. 70-54. They're only 2 games back in this Central Division, and they also hold the 2nd wildcard spot. So if the playoffs ended today, these Twins would be in the playoffs, but they still have a chance to fight for this Central Division as the season wraps up. And Royce Lewis just had his 15th homer of the year, tied a career high, 15 home runs. But Royce Lewis has only played in 40 games this year. That's crazy. If this guy plays a full season, he's going to hit 30 home runs. Like, this guy just comes up and hits a homer every other day. It's crazy. He just needs to stay healthy, like, for once in his career. It's unbelievable, this guy. Manuel Margot had a 16-pitch at-bat to lead off a ball game the other day. It was the longest plate appearance to lead off a game since 1992. Pretty impressive way to start a ball game, Manuel Margot. And the Kansas City Royals. This might be the biggest surprise story in all of baseball this year, besides how bad the Rangers are. But we'll get to that. The Royals, 69-55, 14 games over 500. They're only 3 games back of this division, and they have a 3.5-game lead on the American League wildcard position. The last one, the 3rd AL wildcard spot. Last year, this team lost 100 games. I think they lost 110 games last year or something close to that. It's pretty unbelievable what they've done this year. A big, big turnover, and that's all thanks to, not all, but mainly thanks to their sensational shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr., who just became the 3rd player in Royals history to have multiple 25-homer and 25 stolen base season. He joins Carlos Beltran, who did it in 2002 and 2003, and Bo Jackson, who did it in 1988 and 89. And Bobby Witt, 2nd youngest Royal at 24 years old to reach 500 hits, behind only the great George Brett, who did it when he was 23. And Daron Blanco just had a wild players weekend. And on Saturday, he hit 2 home runs and had 7 RBIs. First Royal with a 7 or more RBI game since Omar Infante back in 2015. In 2015, any year that ends in a 5, magical year for the Royals. And the Detroit Tigers just saw them walk off the Little League Classic game last night against the New York Yankees. Great game that was. They came back to win it. Or they came back to tie it in the ninth, and they came back to win it in the bottom of the 10th. Jake Rogers, the backstop for the Detroit. First Tigers catcher with a 7 RBI game since 1974. And Javi Baez hit a go-ahead homer in the 8th inning off of Andres Munoz Thursday to beat the Mariners. And it was the first hit that Andres Munoz gave up since the 4th of July. Andres Munoz, the closer for Seattle, has been unhittable for the past month and a half, really. First hit he gave up in the last 2 months, pretty much, was a go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Brutal way to give up that first hit, and the Mariners lost that game. And the White Sox sitting at a staggering 65 games under 500, and they've already been eliminated from playoff contention. They just got eliminated on August 17th, and that is the earliest any team has been eliminated from a playoff contention in either the wild card or the divisional era, and that's since 1969. So no team has been eliminated earlier than August 17th, the White Sox this year, in about 40 years. Ridiculous. This White Sox team is historically bad. So going to the NL Central now. I mentioned this in the beginning. This is the only division that's actually expanding the lead. All the other ones are getting smaller and smaller by the day. This one and the Brewers, who are sitting 72-52, 20 games over 500, are beginning to run away with this division. They are over 10 games over are in front. I think it's 11 games now after yesterday. And really, they're running away with it. Jared Cohen earned his first career save the other day, and he became the 11th Brewers pitcher this season to get a save. The Cardinals, 2 games under 500, 5 games back of Atlanta for that final NL wildcard position. Paul Goldschmidt just hit home run number 359 of his career, tying him up with Hall of Famer Johnny Mize at 88th all-time. The Cubs have been playing a little bit better over the past week or two, 5.5 games back at that NL wildcard spot, so I guess that is doable. Ian Happ became the first Cub with a home run and multiple outfield assists in a game since 2011, and Seiya Suzuki hit his first career walk-off hit in his 3rd MLB season. So this Cubs team, I mean, the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Reds, they're all kind of in the same boat, like just slightly under 500 in a mediocre NL wildcard race. So I guess they still have a chance, but I mean, they just can't put together a consistent week of baseball. Every time I look at this NL Central, and every time I have to update the standings for this episode and for this week's episode, the new week, it's always jumbled. Like, the Brewers have a nice advantage. They've had a nice advantage pretty much all season. But, like, it's Cubs are in second. Oh, the Pirates are in second. Oh, the Pirates lose 10 games in a row. The Cardinals are in second. Like, what's going on? Like, it's been a weird season for this NL Central, and it looks like there might be only one team that finishes over 500. And the Cincinnati Reds, my pick to win this division. 4 games under 500. They're 6 games back at that wild card spot. Need to turn it on right now. And the Pirates, 58-65 after they were in second place in this division. They finally ended their 10-game losing streak Friday night. And geez, that was well needed. And actually, Friday night, I was there. I am a big Andrew McCutchen fan. You see this on my wall. The signed Andrew McCutchen jersey. He's been my guy since I was 10 years old. Like, I kind of like got really into baseball and started loving baseball the way I do because of Andrew McCutchen. And I've seen Andrew McCutchen play. Actually, fun fact, the first 4 times I saw Andrew McCutchen play, one of them was in Citi Field, one of them at Yankee Stadium, and two of them at Yankee Stadium, and one of them in Miami. First 4 times I saw McCutchen play, all 4 times he hit a homer. So how about that? But I've probably seen him play about 10 times now. I had never seen him play in Pittsburgh for his hometown team, for his team. Not his hometown team, but you know what I mean. He is Pittsburgh. And I finally got a chance to go to Pittsburgh, PNC Park, on Friday night, and I can tell you, that stadium is as cool as people say it is. Unbelievable stadium that is. I couldn't even believe how cool I thought it was. And I finally got to go there for a Friday night game to finally see my guy Andrew McCutchen play. And Paul Skeens was on the mound. The Pirates were on a 10-game losing streak. The place was buzzing on a Friday night, and Paul Skeens picked up the 7th win of his major league career, and McCutchen had a go-ahead RBI and a hit. He did leave the game after that hit in the 7th inning due to a knee injury, but I was just so happy to see Kutch play in person at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. So, Kutch, love you, brother. I know this might be it, so I had to do it. And I honestly picked a good time because now you're on the 10-day IL. So hopefully I got to see you play before it's over. Now to the West Division, starting with the American League. The Houston Astros holding a 4-game lead over the Seattle Mariners. Alex Bregman just homered in 4 straight games over this past week. That set a career high, tied a career high with 3 and set a career high with 4. Josh Hader has an ongoing save streak of 27 consecutive converted saves. That is the single-season Astros record. Still ongoing. And the Mariners, just mentioned, 4 games behind the Astros in the AL West at 64 and 61. 5.5 games back of Kansas City for that last AL wildcard spot, and they're going to need to turn it on. And speaking of needing to turn it on, the Texas Rangers. I feel like I've been saying this all year. The Rangers need to turn it on. They're 11 games under 500. They're 11 games back of the AL West, and they're 12.5 games back at the AL wildcard spot, the last one. This team just won the World Series last year. It's looking more and more every day like this team, the reigning World Series champions, are not going to make the playoffs. Wyatt Langford just became the second rookie in Rangers history to have a game-tying 2-out home run in the 9th inning or later. The last time that happened was Ruben Sierra in 1986. And Wyatt Langford crushed a game-tying 3-run homer against the Red Sox at Fenway Park in a game that they would later win in extras. And the Angels and the A's both sitting at 53 and 71, but the Angels, my stat of the week from last episode was the Anthony Rendon stat about how since Anthony Rendon has left the Nationals, they've used 19 third basemen, but the Angels have used 28. So the team that's gotten Anthony Rendon has used more third basemen since the team that let him go has. So that's pretty good. And guess what happened this week? Anthony Rendon got hurt. He's going to be on the IL, so another IL stint for Anthony Rendon, getting paid $200 million. The Oakland A's, just mentioned it. They were one of the hottest teams in baseball, arguably the hottest team in the American League since the All-Star break. They've won 7 of their last 9 series, and they just played the final Battle of the Bay series. The Bay Bridge series just wrapped up for the final time ever, and they split the series. So the first one in San Francisco this season, they split 1-1. And the last matchup between the two teams when they're playing in the Bay Area, because obviously the A's are moving to Sacramento, that doesn't count. They split that one too. So 2-2 on the season for each team. And the final matchup, the final Bay Bridge standings, A's, Oakland 76 and San Francisco 72. So the grudge match between the Bay Bridge is over. The A's win the overall series, but the Giants get to keep the actual Bay Bridge trophy in San Francisco, and rightfully so, because we don't deserve it because we're leaving the freaking Bay. And Shea Langeliers, talked about this a little bit during the game of the week because it was mentioned. Shea Langeliers led this A's offense against the Mets this week. They took 2 out of 3 in Flushing, and Shea had a hit in 8 straight at-bats. That ties the all-time A's record. He's the 3rd player in Oakland history with back-to-back 4-hit games, and the 7th A's player ever to hit a hit in 8 straight at-bats since 1961. Shea Langeliers became the first A's player since Scott Hatteberg back in 2003 to reach base safely in 10 consecutive plate appearances. Langeliers also became the first A's catcher since Hatwood Sullivan in 1961 to reach base safely 5 or more times in a game, multiple times in the same season. And the last time an A's catcher reached base safely 11 times in a 3-game series was 1941. So a lot of history that I saw this weekend for the A's, especially Shea Langeliers. And during this road trip, 6-game road trip, Shea played in 5 games. He went 12 for 19. That's good for a .632 batting average. He had that one home run that I saw Tuesday night at Citi Field. Fired me up. He had 2 games with 4 hits, and he had 1 game with 3 hits. I mean, Shea Langeliers just carried this A's offense, and they won another series. And Joe Boyle on Tuesday night, that first game I was at, threw 39 pitches at least 99 miles an hour. That's the most by any starter in a single outing this year. So not Paul Skeens, not Glasnow, not Snell, or all these guys. Joe Boyle, the most pitches thrown at 99 miles an hour or harder in one start. And to wrap things up with the National League West, this division getting extremely tight late. So Dodgers still leading it at 73 and 52, but only by 3 games. So this is going to be fun to watch over the last month or so. But Mookie Betts is back for the Dodgers. And guess what? Homered in his second at-bat back against the Brewers. He's officially back in right field as well. Made a diving catch this week too. Kevin Kiermaier made another wedge gem of his own. 99-mile-an-hour throw to cut down a runner at the plate. hardest outfield assist by a Dodger in the StatCast era since 2015. And now Shohei homered yesterday against the against the Cardinals. He has now homered against all 30 teams. He's the 19th active player to do so. And Clayton Kershaw still going. Sunday, pitched against the Cardinals, picked up the win. 85th time in Kershaw's career that he's pitched 6 or more innings while allowing no runs. So Kershaw, unbelievable yet again, unhittable, picks up win number 2 on the season. San Diego Padres gaining on the heels of these Dodgers, only 3 games back. They do hold the top NL wildcard spot at the moment. And Manny Machado, his offense, and the whole offense as a team has been a big part why. Manny Machado moved into 3rd all-time on the Padres' all-time home run list with 157, and he is now 4th in RBIs with 502. Arizona Diamondbacks hold that 2nd NL wildcard spot. They're 4 games back at the Dodgers, so this NL West could get interesting. And the D-backs and the Padres have been the 2 best teams in baseball since the All-Star break. D-backs did just lose their first series since the All-Star break, though, against the Rays at the Trop. 2 of those games they got walked off, too. So a tough one to swallow for the D-backs, but they have been hot as of late. So have the Padres. This West is something to look out for. The San Francisco Giants are at 500, 4 games behind Atlanta for that final wildcard spot. Tyler Fitzgerald continues to rake, joined Willie Mays as the only players in Giants history to hit 15 home runs in their first 59 career games. And Blake Snell, ever since he threw that no-hitter, has been basically unhittable. He's got 55 strikeouts in his last 5 starts. That's the most by a Giants pitcher since at least 1901, dating back to when they started taking AL/NL records, so it could be even more. And the Rockies, to wrap things up, still 33 games under 500, 46-79, but, they just beat the Padres. So both the Padres and the D-backs lose their first series since the All-Star break against mediocre teams. The Rays take down the D-backs, and the Rockies take down the Padres. So baseball continues to be as weird as ever, but we're getting down the home stretch here, and things are starting to get fun. Division races, except for that NL Central, are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The National League wildcard especially is going to be extremely fun to watch, but the American League too. So make sure you get yourself watching. I know football starts this weekend. I'm excited for that too, but so excited for the stretch run of baseball. Next week, or 2 weeks from now, I believe, we'll be into NFL as well. So we'll get MLB podcast still coming out every Monday, and I think we'll do Tuesdays for the NFL. So make sure you tune into that. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff at the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. And if you got any questions about BVSA, at thebvacademy.com. So hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you next week, and peace out. I'm Frank Rampant.